Hello and welcome to Todd Rolls Dice, where we're going to take a look at the wealth of Warhammer 40,000 updates that have just dropped. So this is all on WarCom in downloads, Warhammer 40,000. You probably know this, but this webpage will be linked in the description of this article, and then recently added you have got a whole host of stuff. We have a new balanced Dataslate, new Munitorum field manual, so this is going to be points for maybe Space Wolves and everything that has come out since. Well, what's come out since? Because technically Space Wolves are only just coming out, aren't they? This weekend they're officially releasing. We have some interesting stuff here. I'm not going to go through all of this. I'm just going to touch on what's been updated. So, we have an FAQ and an errata for the Agents of the Imperium. Shall we take a look? I mean, wow, it's huge. So, new stuff is in red. It is just an FAQ. And the FAQ is about the Imperialis fleet detachment. If I attach a character to a unit selected using the clandestine operation or combat landers enhancement, does that character also gain the ability conferred by that enhancement? IG Infiltrators, Deep Strike, or whichever. The answer is yes. Fairly straightforward for the FAQs for this one. So no help for Imperial agents, which I believe is struggling. That's hilarious. We've also got some updates for, so this is going to be the Codex, FAQs and erratas. We've got the Tau Empire, Space Wolves, which I'll circle back to because I do want to touch on that. We've got Orcs, Thousand Suns, supplement FAQs for the Dark Angels. Interesting that they're calling Space Wolves a Codex FAQ when it's a Codex supplement, whereas Dark Angels is a Codex supplement FAQ. Is that just a mistype, or are we moving forward with branching out the Codex compliant and the non-Codex compliant Space Marine chapters? Honestly, I'd be fine, and I said this in my review, but I'd be fine with Space Wolves having their own dedicated Codex with all the units that they can take and locking them in as something completely separate to traditional Codex Space Marines in the other chapters. Interesting terminology. We'll see. I think that's going to happen for 11th, but that's not what this video is about. We have FAQ and errata for World Eaters. We have the new Space Marine drop pod, which we are going to take a look at in this video. Updates to Tyranids, Chaos Knights, Aldari, Chaos Space Marines, Astra Militarum. Cabal of Chaos has been updated. I believe that was that the Grotmus? No, I think that was just a separate, but that's just an update to a detachment. Necrons have got FAQs and errata update. The chapter approved tournament companion has been updated, that's good. Obviously our balanced data slate and our field manual, and then Emperor's Children have had. Let's have a look at Emperor's Children as well. So not a huge amount, it is just talking about an FAQ for the Carnival of Excess detachment. So not a huge amount, but obviously not updates for everything. So Space Wolves we will look at, because this is interesting to me. Codex Space Wolves, why is it called Codex Space Wolves? But we have a couple of changes, so this is just updates to the rules. On page 72, Saga of the Beast Slayer, the Wolf Touched enhancement has been changed to read, Space Wolves model only, add 2 inches to move characteristic of the bearer, and in the declare battle formation step, the bearer can be attached to a Wolfen infantry unit. I suppose that's just confirming it's not a dreadnought. Logan Grimnar's Guile of the Wolf ability has been changed to Guile of the Wolf Aura. Each time your opponent targets a unit from their army with a stratagem, if that unit is within 12 inches of this model, increase the cost of that usage of that stratagem by 1 CP, and it's just a confirmation this is not cumulative with any other rules that increase the CP cost of that stratagem. Completely fair, and I think that's how it would have been played anyway. We have an update to the Iron Priest, so their ability Gift of the Iron Wolf has been changed to read, Gift of the Iron Wolf, in your command phase you can select one friendly Adeptus Astartes vehicle model within 3 inches of this model. That model regains up to D3 lost wounds, and until the start of your next command phase, select one ranged weapon equipped by that model to have the Rapid Fire 1 ability, and each model can only be selected for this ability or the Blessings of the Omnisire ability once per turn. So just confirming it isn't all ranged weapons, it is just one. It's a bit of a nerf, but I think putting Rapid Fire 1 on everything was probably a bit too strong, do we think? You're still going to be selecting las cannons, let's put it that way. And we also have a little bit of a buff to the Wolfguard Headtakers, so their ability Headhunters has been changed to read: Headhunters, at the start of the battle, select one unit from your opponent's army to be the unit's quarry. Weapons equipped by Headtakers models in this unit have the devastating wounds and precision abilities while targeting that quarry. Each time this unit's quarry is destroyed, select one new enemy unit to be the unit's quarry. And they've added, this ability can be used even if this unit is embarked within a transport. Headtakers in Land Raiders, yes please. I don't think these changes changed too much. I think that you would have been taking the Wolf Touch enhancement and putting them with Wolfen Inventory. I think it's pretty obvious within the rules that you can only increase or decrease abilities and costs by one as a max. Be it stats, be it CP, whatever. So I don't think that really changes Logan Grimnar, and it doesn't work in conjunction with anything else. I think that's completely fair. The Iron Priest is a bit of a nerf, but also I think it makes sense. I'm not going to kick off too much about that, although it would be nice to say rapid fire on all your ranged weapons. And Headtakers, that's really nice that you can have them in a transport, pick a quarry, and then have them come out, charge, slap something so hard into another dimension and back again. Headtakers are coming out really strongly at the minute. Depends what they've done with points. How about we have a look at points? This video is turning into more of a whole look at everything. So change-wise, we don't have a huge amount. I am looking for red and green. As soon as we see something, I will let you know. This was recently done. I think it's only going to be Space Wolves, in all honesty. No, Codex Space Wolves has stayed the same. Have we had any changes? Have they added something? Am I being blind here? There's no oh, I know what they've done. Yeah, okay. Right, they haven't made any changes. What they've done is removed Index Space Wolves. So it is now just, again, the terminology, Codex Space Wolves. It's a Codex supplement. The balanced Dataslate, we're looking for red is new, isn't it? So far, nothing. Oh, Tau have had a change too for the greater good. That looks like that's the only change, so we'll run over this then. Tau army rules for the greater good army rule has been changed to, if your army faction is Tau Empire, at the start of your shooting phase you can select units from your army with this ability to become Overseer units. During your shooting phase, for each Overseer unit from your army that has not been selected to shoot this phase, and is eligible to shoot, excluding fortification and battle-shocked units, select one enemy unit that is visible to be marked as their spotted unit until the end of the phase. Each enemy unit can only be marked as a spotted unit once per phase. Okay, fair. Units from your army with the For the Greater Good ability, excluding Observer units, are guided units while targeting one or more spotted units. Until the end of the phase, each time a model from your army in a guided unit makes an attack that targets a spotted unit, improve the ballistic skill characteristic of that attack by 1, and if the spotted unit was marked by an observer unit that has the marker-like keyword, the attack has the Ignores Cover ability. So further changes to For the Greater Good. I think that was changed last time around as well, wasn't it? I think all of that makes sense. It's probably just clarifying how it should work. So you can only spot an enemy unit once, but once it's spotted, those guided units gain all the benefits. I think that's quite a nice army rule, and it's quite simple. And I mean that in a positive way. I know we talk about 40k and simple in a bad way a lot of the times, but I think that's actually quite a nice, easy but beneficial army rule, how they've reworded it and how it works now. Tau players, let me know what you think of that change in the comments. I'll be honest, I wasn't expecting to be going over all this stuff, but there isn't a huge amount of changes, so we'll get it all done in one video. We will take a look at the rules commentary. I'm just looking for red bits. They've added a word in the charge phase. They've added the word in your charge phase. And then we have one FAQ by the looks of it. That is one scary looking cherub. Yeah, it's nice that they're not making loads of changes, in all honesty. This is all the example runs. They've tweaked an example rule. Vehicles with bases. The only change that I can see here is a unit can embark within a friendly transport with a base. After that unit ends a normal advance or fallback move within 3 inches horizontally and 5 inches vertically of any part of that transport. That is just a clarification. Yeah, very light on changes, which is positive. Our FAQ, just a general one. Question: when using the Fire Overwatch stratagem, is the selected enemy unit the closest eligible target? Answer: yes, if it is the closest unengaged visible enemy unit. I think again that just makes sense. There wasn't anything else apart from in being added to second paragraph of the charge phase just to make it read better. Okay, fairly straightforward. Like I say, I'm not going to go through all of the individual stuff. If you want me to, let me know in the comments, because I'm happy to talk about it, but my knowledge of most of these factions is very limited. But let me know if you want me to go over it. That will be a separate video later in the week. Happy to do it if you're interested and there's people that want me to cover this stuff. How about we take a look at the brand new datasheet for the Space Marine drop pod. So this drop pod is no movement, toughness 7, it has a 3-up save, 8 wounds, 6-up leadership, and 0 AC. As you can see there, it has a very specific area, so we'll run through that. All of that bit in red is what we're talking about here. Designer's note: the highlighted portions of this model are the only parts that are considered to make up this model, so the doors are excluded. Models can be set up or end a move phase on any part of this model that is not highlighted in red. If any models are on non-highlighted sections of this model when it is destroyed, place those models as close to their original position as possible on the battlefield after removing this model. Keywords: vehicle transport, dedicated transport, I think that's new, Imperium and drop pod. Abilities: deadly demise and deep strike. Faction: Oath of Moment, it's not going to be useful because it doesn't have weapons anymore. And then we have 3 further abilities. Drop Pod Assault, this model must start the battle in reserves and can be set up in the reinforcement step of your first, second or third movement phase, regardless of any mission rules. Any units embarked in this model must immediately disembark after it has been set up on the battlefield, and they must be set up more than 9 inches away from all enemy units. So it's a first, second or third turn deep strike ability, but after that it's useless. We have combat disembarkation. Each time a unit disembarks from this model after it has been set up on the battlefield, that unit is still eligible to declare a charge this turn. Very useful. And deployment complete. Once this unit is set up on the battlefield and all units within it have disembarked, until the end of the battle, units cannot embark within this transport. So it is just a piece of scenery that allows one of your units to have deep strike, and you can charge out of it, which is all really nice. And I suppose dedicated transport is quite a nice inclusion as well. But yeah, what do we think on that one? Faction keywords: Adeptus Astartes and transport capacity. This model has a transport capacity of 12 Adeptus Astartes infantry models, and it cannot transport Centurion, Gravis, Jump Pack, Wolfen or Terminator models. I feel like Centurion and Gravis are a bit of an issue, but the rest of it probably fine. Wolfen, I wouldn't want to cram 12 Wolfen in a drop pod, I'll be honest. Yeah, I mean, it's fine. The key thing is it's not specifying Tacticus, it's not doing any of that Primaris bollocks that everybody hates, I think. Not the Primaris models themselves, just the Primaris keyword and the restrictions that brings. So, you can put any type of infantry Tacticus, tactical armoured Space Marine in here, 12 of them, so you're looking at a squad of 10 plus 1, maybe 2 characters. You could do 10 Hellblasters with a Lieutenant and an Apothecary. That's a nice 12 model drop pod. Or you could do 3 squads of 3 Blade Guard, each with a Judicia or a Chaplain. So 3 units of 4, that would be awful on the charge as well. There's options, there's things that you could do. 12 is quite a nice capacity limit, especially when you have normally 10-man squads. It's a hell of a jump up from 10, considering the old drop pod, and I can't show the datasheet, but I've got it next to me. The old drop pod was 10, so you would be taking, say, a unit of 10, but then no characters with them to give them any buffs. But what actually has changed here? So let's have a quick look. Stat-wise, oh, it's lost its OC, right? So that you can't put it on objective. I guess that makes sense. Feels a little bit bad. Drop Pod Assault is basically the same. So Drop Pod Assault in the Codex reads like Drop Pod Assault on this data card and Deployment Complete all combined in one. It's lost its weapons, which isn't ideal. Now the one thing that I don't have is points. In Codex Space Marines, so these points will be way out of whack. The old version 10-man drop pod that used to have a gun as well and 2 OC was 65 points. Let me just check the app. So they're now dedicated transport, which is nice. They are 70 points. So the drop pods have gone up 5 points from the base Codex points, which isn't correct. I'm trying to be as clear as possible here, but it's 70 points for giving 12 or a squad of 12 up to 12 deep strike. The ability to charge out of it is really nice. I don't know, what do we think? Just because it's cool and I love drop pods, I would consider, in a 2,000 point army, I'd maybe consider a drop pod or two. I am just thinking of the horrible things I could do with drop pods. I wonder how that rule interacts with head takers and wolves. Could you take 6 head takers, 6 wolves in a drop pod? I haven't got the Space Wolf Codex with me at the minute. It's at my partner's house, so I can't check that. And despite having the Codex for 2 months, probably around that, I haven't been able to put my code in to get them unlocked digitally because the app and the redeem process is ridiculous. So I can't answer that question, which was the first thing that popped in my mind, especially with a change to head takers. But then they'd have to be in a transport on the battlefield, do we think? I'm already trying to find ways of breaking this. They count as being embarked at the start of the battle, so it's not even... I may have found a way to break drop pods with head takers already. 6 head takers, 6 wolves, I think, is just 12 infantry models. Again, I need to check the keywords, so I could be way off base on this. They would be embarked in a transport, but they can use this ability at the start of the battle, so that's fine. I am working on the theory, and I'll double check it later, and in the comments let me know if I'm wrong. But I'm working on the theory you could drop a drop pod onto an enemy, well, within 9 inches, or just outside of 9 inches of an enemy, and then unleash the hounds and head takers and still charge. That sounds fun to me. It might not be fun to play against, but that sounds fun to me. I think drop pods are I think 70 points is just too much for what it gives. It doesn't give you OC, it doesn't give you any fire support. The only benefit I see here is deep strike and the transport capacity. But the drop pod always had deep strike, so it's just an increased transport capacity of 2. The 70 points, being able to charge and increase transport capacity, is that a fair trade for losing? Alright, it was a Stormbolter, but you know, a weapon, something that gave you some range support. They also had like a grenade launcher on them or something, didn't they, that you could opt to take? Yeah, I don't know, I don't think it's that exciting. I'm still going to pick up a set so we can do a review on the channel, because having given them a bit of flack about redesigning it, I am interested to know what the redesign is. So hopefully on Saturday I will be picking up a drop pod kit that we can go over and talk about. You guys are probably more in tune with 40k than I am. I think at 70 points, that is 5 points less than a Rhino, but the Rhino still has the stupid excludes Tacticus stuff, doesn't it? If you're dropping Tacticus keyword troops, it might be an option, but then a Rhino has OC. A Rhino can actually do stuff. This can't once it's dropped. It's just a bit of terrain. But I think what we're seeing here, and my key takeaway with this, yeah, you can do whatever with it in 10th. 70 points, I'd love to see that come down to 60. I think 60 points is quite a nice... It's basically a deep strike upgrade for a squad, isn't it? But I think at 60 points, you can argue with it. 50 would be better, but I think 60 points, it might be worth taking. But the big thing And I hope that we're going to see this moving forward. I would have loved them to do it here. They obviously haven't, but what they need to do is get rid of the Tacticus keyword and any of the Primaris keywords that restrict Primaris troops going into transports. It's the dumbest thing in 40k right now, and there's quite a few dumb things, but this either points at two things. One, they're going to change for 11th, I think. They're going to change how keywords work and open up Tacticus, or just get rid of Tacticus, but they may open it up so that Tacticus inventory models can use all of the vehicles, or we're going to get a new Rhino. And if we're getting a new Rhino chassis, then we're going to get hopefully a new Razorback, because I love the Razorback. I know it's a decreased transport capacity, but it's just cool. It's just cool. It's one of the two. They're either loosening up the restrictions, which is great, or they're going to give us new transport models, which is better, but it's still great. Let me know what you think in the comments of all these changes. Let me know if you want me to cover the other bits more in depth, like I do with Kill Team. I don't know how much information's on there in all honesty, but today, unfortunately, I haven't got time to do a big long video on it. You can probably tell I'm already starting to lose my voice after half an hour of recording, so I'm interested. I'm looking forward to seeing the kit, and I am very much a model-orientated person. I build an army around cool models. Drop pods are cool, and having never owned the previous drop pod kit, I think it's time I add a couple to my collection. So hopefully Saturday I'll pick one up and we can talk about them then. I'll put a video up. Hopefully Saturday evening. Yeah, just let me know what you think. As always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.